What's up?
So
Another Friday football game? Is going to be hard.
No, yeah, that was a tough one.
There's 2 in a row, wasn't it?
Yes.
2 in a row.
Not this week.
No, they got the rivalry game this week.
Saturday.
Now that you've gotten a little bit of an idea of what these guys can do, have you thought more about like the rotation size you want?
Yeah.
What
Not
is it?
size as much as lineups, best lineups, where you can look at the plus minus analytics. You can, obviously we're looking at all that stuff. But then again, it can be skewed because your opponents are different.
Yeah.
So that stuff's tricky. But I'm looking at all of it. Yeah, not as much as size of the rotation or how you said it. More of what's the best rotation. And to be quite honest with you, obviously Dylan hasn't played the last 2 games. What you're hoping is that guys separate themselves. Which I don't know how much that has happened.
Since you brought up Dylan, what's his status right now?
He looks better. He looks a lot better.
The likelihood that he plays?
You got to ask him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I've accomplished some things in my career, but I don't have a medical license. So. And I also, with that type of stuff, this day and age, guys, there's a lot of things involved. It's not like the old days.
You talked about different lineups. Do you have a favorite offensive and/or defensive lineup right now?
I mean, I'd give you the funny answer is, I'd like to have a lineup that makes a lot of shots and doesn't turn the ball over. I don't know if we have that one quite yet. Defensively, would I sit there and say, okay, we're in a close game. What's going to be my defensive lineup? Same thing, what's going to be my offensive lineup? So I think I know. I'm confident what the defensive lineup would be. I know again that could be skewed to you're playing a big team, you're playing a small team, but I'm pretty sure on that. Offensively, I'm not sure. I just don't. Nobody's really shot the ball great.
Does it make it more challenging to evaluate, or maybe not challenging, but given the quality of the opponents, not necessarily? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you're trying to evaluate things, how good of an evaluation, or obviously when they do studies, see, I'm gonna impress you. When they do studies, they to control the variables, so all the elements are the same, so you can't do that.
Right.
But that's why it is good to play a tough game early that we probably weren't ready for against a team that was really ready to get some reality for us. But yeah, it's really hard to do to answer your question.
A couple weeks into the season, are there any players whose voices have become like louder as leaders as the season's gone along?
Not enough. And we've got great guys. Not enough. Our guy that's played the most for us, Dylan, hasn't been playing. And like I said, this was been starting 5 transfers the last 2 games. Now I know Lazar played for us last year, but he's not the loudest guy. He talks a lot in practice, but he's not a loud guy with it. So we don't have a clear-cut leader, which I think, this day and age, I'm going to say there's 4. I look around, I saw Auburn played 9 guys, beat Houston, they played 8 seniors that had been at Auburn. I just think, I think Texas A&M's got a bunch. I think Marquette returns a lot of guys. People that have guys that have won and probably have leadership. The rest of us in this era are trying to develop it on the fly.
I know he's a freshman, but does Trent have any of those traits?
I think he does, but it's almost, you're the youngest guy on the team.
Yeah.
It's not redshirt, it's tough.
You do have one of the toughest non-conference schedules with Arizona, Gonzaga, North Carolina, and New Mexico. What's it going to take to get one of them to come to Poly in future seasons? I mean, is that?
You want to give them a bunch of NIL money, they might do it.
how does that work? Like, so, you know, playing Gonzaga, 2 neutral site games versus playing one here and one at their home. How does that?
There's a promoter involved. The money gets dispersed. You can figure it out from there.
Okay.
There's a reason everybody's doing it.
All right. So are we never probably going to see those marquee?
Man, I don't know
homes?
I don't know what's going to happen year to year. But I would say there was an era where it was the Pac-10. You know, before that, the Pac-8. You know, you're in an era of 20 conference games, and I'm here to tell you that television wants 22. That when you go to league meetings, they try to push that on you, your television partner. They want 22. So you're in an era of neutral site games to raise money. You're in an era of television contracts. So making you play 20 league games. It's just the era of home and home non-conference games. I mean, how many have you seen? A few.
Yes.
And they were because they were on back end of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to be renewed, probably.
Yeah. You feel bad for the fans who, you know, are used to, you know, one of those games a season that buy season tickets, and now, you know, they have to go to Phoenix or Madison Square Garden.
I mean, look, the whole thing's changed. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's bigger, you know, if you were to ask our fans, they prefer that we were in the Pac-12 and the old Pac-12 was still intact. They would pick that first over non-league games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you lined up like list of importance of things that they would care about.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, Jay Billis and all the guys, they're talking heads that led down the charge to this whole thing. You know, as the Zen master said one time, you know, we'll see. This is going to be a good thing. We'll see. This is, you know, what you got to realize is that, you know, there's cause and effect to everything. You know, so, you know, well, it's about the money, and now, you really think that this is all over?
No. Just started.
You really think that this is all over? You think Ohio State's going to want to take an equal share of the Big Ten TV money for the rest of time? If they're selling, you know, if them in Michigan are selling 100,000 tickets and driving the TV deal, you think they're going to go for the equal share forever? Just like we wanted more in the Pac-12. But once you start down that rabbit hole, I mean, where does it end?
Yeah. How much more of your job now is fundraising than it was like even 5 years ago? I mean, between NIL and then also scheduling purposes being NIL fundraising as well.
Job's totally changed. It just is what it is. Some guys didn't want to change with it, and they're on television now. Or they're on a beach. I mean, it's just, you can look, you know, history's taught us one thing is that times change. So you got to be willing to change with the times.
Mm-hmm.
You've said that you're the general manager, but would you like to maybe take some of that off your plate and hire somebody to handle some of that stuff?
I would love for the UCLA to continue to help more with the fundraising aspect of that. Now that also could, you know, that could go away. And you know, the NCAA is trying to make NIL collectives go away. Then it becomes in-house. You know, once the house case, you know, and everybody's getting paid in-house. So who knows where that goes, but sure. But you got to remember, if you guys were millionaire donors and somebody was asking you for 6-7 figure donations, wouldn't you want to know the head coach a little bit? Or you want some, you know, 28-year-old kid that's an analytics guy going to lunch with you, or playing golf with you, going on a trip with you. I mean, it's just part of it, guys. You got to embrace it.
I'd be on TV.
How receptive has this team been when it comes to embracing the details, especially, you know, obviously the last 2 wins, you know, pretty lopsided, but as a
Very
coach,
lopsided.
as a coach, you're obviously trying to harp on details, trying to improve them,
Yep.
regardless of what the margin of victory is. How much has this team embraced those details?
Well, we've improved our defensive intensity immensely, and our competitive spirit over the last week. And that's it's got to be who you are. You can't just you are who you are every day in practice. You know, I try to tell my guys that can't just be that way because I was furiously upset over our performance in Vegas. So right now I think we're 6th in the nation in defensive efficiency. You know, we're only allowing 51 points a game or something.
Yeah.
There's not many people playing defense at our level. So we got to continue to try to improve on the rebounding and taking care of the ball and making shots. There's areas where we got to improve. And we're still, like a lot of teams, guys, we're still trying to figure it out. We don't have a clear-cut best player on the offensive end. You guys might say, well, okay, Tyler Bilodeau. Well, we'll see. I think he can be. You got a lot. Everybody's got to get better. We got to get a lot better. And again, competition. Against certain levels.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.